Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the YouTube Business Academy podcast, the podcast that teaches you the ins and outs of building a successful YouTube automation channel. I'm your host, George, and joining me today is my co-host, Ron. Today's episode is all about the psychology of YouTube. Specifically, why do people click and watch certain videos? We'll be diving into some key factors that can make your content more compelling and engaging, including emotional resonance, curiosity and novelty, social proof, personal relevance, and entertainment value. Whether you're just starting out on YouTube or looking to take your channel to the next level, understanding the psychology of viewer behavior is essential for success. So, let's get started. Ron, how are you doing, bro?
I'm doing great. And great topic we have today, because I think this is basically the key on getting a lot of views on YouTube, is finding out how people think and why they click on a video. So will be a great podcast. And I think how are you doing, by the way?
Dude, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. I've been doing ice baths.
I've seen them. How was it this morning?
Oh man, it was horrible. Today was very because it was windy. And I get to because I'm not doing it in like a pool or like a shower. I'm doing it in a lake, dude. Like I live by the lake. And I'm living in Finland, so it's winter here, right? We're in the north. So I go to the lake, I walk there, I get undressed, and I'm standing there just in my underwear. And I'm like, okay, here we go. So I tend to just go in. But yeah, and I'm actually working on a video. The reason why I'm doing it is because I'm going there every single day, and I'm recording every single day, and I'm recording B-roll, and I'm going to make a storyline, and I'm going just the whole thing, right? And I'm working on a video titled something like I tried ice baths for 30 days. So
that's a good one.
Yeah, so we'll see, and I think it'll be pretty cool. It's actually something that really excites me personally. I think let's see how that turns out. But yeah, that's one of the things that I'm working on.
I'm quickly wondering, do you already notice any difference since you're doing it a week already?
Tomorrow is going to be day number 7. The thing that I'm noticing is that first off, I'm much more calm now when I actually go in to the water. Like I'm not that calm. Like yesterday was good weather.
I saw a video.
Yesterday I was calm because the weather was really sunny and it was like really nice, not windy. So I was like, oh, it was easy. Today it was really windy. I couldn't even stand there properly because it was really cold. But when I go in, I don't notice this kind of like shock. Like it doesn't, because like the first times you go, it's you're not used to it, right? You're like, But like, I think day number 5, I'm like, oh, I think I'm getting used to this.
Very good. I'll call you Iceman from now.
Yeah, thanks, man. You know what to expect. Anyway, me myself personally, I'm very interested in human psychology. I've read a lot of books about human psychology, and I listened also to like a Mr. Beast podcast. I listened to all of them, but one of them, I think I can't remember which one he said, is that at this point he has people around him to give him ideas and to teach him stuff, and he also either hires or he talks to psychologists to understand what makes people tick. Okay, so the points that we are going to be discussing in today's video come from 2 books. One of the books is called Contagious, and the other book is called Hooked. Okay, so I read actually both of the books, and it's super interesting. Okay, now the authors there, they discuss and they analyze why do certain things catch on, right? So it can be products, right? It could be information, it can be videos, right? Like if you think about it, a video is a product in itself as well, right? So why do some videos get watched more than other videos, right? Have you ever asked yourself that question?
Yeah, it's an important I think it's a question that people that are publishing videos on YouTube will ask themselves constantly. Because I've seen so many videos in my niche, for example, that got crazy amount of views. And then I'm like, that got a lot of views. Let me take some inspiration for it and make my own twist out of it. And it kind of has the same angle. And then you're like, yeah, I'm going to publish this. It's going to be a great video. But in the end, you missed maybe one aspect, or you changed one small thing and the video is not taking off at all. and you maybe missed the complete picture. Well, psychology is all that matters. And probably the other video did it better than you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's an interesting point you said there about how, like, you know, you're like, oh, okay, that works. Let me just, you know, replicate that and maybe change a little thing. And then you do it and it doesn't work at all, right? And then you're like, what? Why didn't it work? But then as you do it more and more, you slowly start to see patterns and you're like, okay, this title works. Now I need to make my own story, etc. So the first bullet point here is emotional resonance. Okay, so let me just read it out to you and then we'll discuss it. Now, videos that evoke strong emotions such as joy, surprise, anger, sadness are more likely to be clicked and watched. People tend to share content that triggers an emotional response, which can lead to virality. So, we are emotional beings, right? We make decisions based on emotions and then we justify with logic. And so, you know, emotions are an evolutionary mechanism that has been adapted for human beings for survival, right? All of these emotions serve some kind of a purpose for our survival, right? But, you know, our wiring has stayed the same, right? From all these like millions of years of evolution, but our environment has changed, right? So your brain can't really distinguish what it's seeing, right? And so whenever it's presented with a very emotionally charged video, right, that elicits and that has a very emotional, strong response, that is increasing your chances of this video being spread out to more and more people.
Yeah, I agree. And especially, sad to say it, but mostly if the video is in a negative tone, it attracts people even more because we're more attracted to the negative things because it's a danger of us, you know. Yes. I think also, like, if we go back to the days, but that's also why all the news outlets, like all the headlines are most of the time negative to just get the viewers and everything. Yeah,
it works. Like you said, we are looking more out for danger than for positive things, because if you think about it, you know, when we were evolving back in like the forests and the jungles, right? If our tribe, you know, signals some kind of danger, you know, our survival depended upon hearing and responding to that signal, right? And so we can see that, like you said, with news as well. All the titles and all the headlines of newspapers are, you know, negative. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. This is bad. Right? You never see the news like, oh, you know, the mortality rate has been decreased by this amount, like by this percentage in this country. Like, you never see that, right? It's an interesting, because you read it in so many books. It's like, you know, how many people die per year from terrorist attacks? Right? It's like, I can't remember the exact number, but it's like, just imagine like a small number, whatever, under 1,000, right? Now, how many people die from cardiovascular diseases, or, you know, from eating junk food, or from smoking cigarettes, or from opioids, or, you know, it's like, or car accidents even, you know? Some people are afraid to fly on a plane. And I'm like, dude, just open up the statistics. How many people die from cars and how many people die from planes, you know? And so we have this, I can't remember exactly the term, what it is, but we have this like distorted perception of danger, basically, right? Yeah. We perceive danger very differently. So yeah, an emotional response. So how can this be applied? How can you apply this to your, you know, thing on YouTube, right? To your channel? What do you think?
I think it's mostly the title and thumbnail combination. Like, after this podcast, we're going to do a workshop about Moon. It's a big YouTuber. For example, what he's doing in his videos, he's basically always highlighting the negative because it attracts attention. One of his titles is, for example, one of these countries will collapse in the next month. Like, it creates huge curiosity as well, but it's also pretty negative because the word collapse, you know, those kind of things is what Moon is also doing. And I think if you can formulate a title in a certain way that will make people not like, you don't need to make the people scared, but maybe warn them a little bit about something. And if you're warning them, they want to know what's up, so they will click. And if you can make a thumbnail that's like supplementing, of like complemental to the title itself, like strengthening the message, that can do very well. But yeah, it's the whole, you need to understand like how the human psychology works to make a nice packaging of the video, you know, to make a nice title and thumbnail. And that takes a lot of practice. My advice would be for people who want to try this out is check those channels that are doing this. SunnyV2, Moon, Jake Tran, those people are all using a negative angle, but it works. So analyze their titles and analyze their thumbnails, and you can learn a lot from it.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good point. And overall, just think, like Ron said, how can you elicit, is that the word? A strong emotional response from the viewer with your title and with your thumbnail. Study the news, right? Study different news companies. See what they are doing, right? Oftentimes, you're browsing the internet and then you come across one of those little ads, you know, the headlines, and then it's just the headline is so good that even I catch myself sometimes thinking like, oh, I really want to click that. But then I'm like, no, it's just some bunch of BS.
Yeah, but it works.
Yeah, it works, man.
So a lot of times you can't even, like, even if you know it's bullshit, it still catches your attention. And I think that really shows the power and the strength of this.
Because a lot of our minds, a lot of the processing happens subconsciously, like unconsciously, you know, like 95% of everything, like communication, right? And our processing of information and everything. So you might think you're a very rational and objective human being, but matter of fact, you're very irrational. And so knowing that and having a greater sense of self-awareness, it can be very beneficial for you, like just in life in general, and of course on YouTube as well. All right. The second point here is curiosity and novelty. People are naturally drawn to content that piques their curiosity or offers something new and novel. Video titles and thumbnails that promise to reveal something unexpected or previously unknown can generate clicks and views.
I have a great example of YouTube channels for this.
Go ahead.
Like all those history channels or space channels, like they use like, for example, they have like a thumbnail and the video itself is like about how something in the world was like 5,000 years ago, and they show like an image of the thumbnail of like a landscape zoomed out with like a red circle around something, and you can't see properly what it is.
Yes.
And then you're like, 5,000 years ago, and okay, you read it in the title, and then you check like the image, a red circle. What is it? I can't see it. And then you want to find out, and you click on the video and you watch it. So I see a lot of channels do that as well. And I think it's a little bit of a dirty way, I think, but it isn't if you're actually delivering on it. Like there are a lot of channels that do a little bit in a clickbaity way, and I can understand it since it's a fight of attention. Yeah. But even if it's a clickbaity way, it still shows like the psychology behind it. You still want to click, even if you probably already know, this is probably not true. You still click anyway.
Yeah,
you know? That's crazy.
Right before we started recording this podcast, Ron showed me his new channel, and I caught myself, and he's like, "Oh, look, this video is picking up," and I look at the thumbnail, and I'm like, "What? Why is there like, let's say, why is there a dog on that football field, or why is there like an elephant on the football field?" You know what I mean? So it's something that catches you off guard, right? Something unexpected.
Exactly.
So I was listening to an Andrew Huberman podcast about creativity.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, man.
I'm listening to so many stuff of him. It's crazy.
Dude, but you need if I listen to one, I need like a break of like a couple of days because...
Yeah, it's a lot of info.
Yeah.
And he's so enthusiastic. He tells so much things.
And he's so good at explaining. Anyway, shout out to Andrew Huberman. He's the G. But I was listening to a podcast of his about creativity, and he was basically explaining what is creativity, like what is it, what it is to be creative. And he says that it's taking like mundane things, like the everyday things, and looking at them from a different angle or perspective. Like, I'm not explaining it in the best way possible. You should probably go and listen to him instead. But as an example, Banksy, right, the artist, he drew a dog, right, peeing on a fire. What are they called? You know those red ones in movies?
No, I don't know.
It's that you can see them on the ground, like in the American movies. You know, especially if you if the car knocks them off, there's a huge water. It's for it's for fires.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like those red poles thing. I don't know the name.
Yeah. But basically, Banksy has a piece of art where a dog is peeing on one of those fire hydrants. I think it's called a fire hydrant. On one of those fire hydrants, but both of them are drawn, you know, on the wall. So it looks like, it's drawn, but it looks like it's not drawn, right? So that's like a mundane thing, a dog peeing on a fire hydrant, but it's done in a completely new way, like reimagined, right? So that is creativity. And so the same thing can be applied. Like you said, a good example about those old videos, history videos. Also, you know, those like rebound videos where they have these very clickbaity thumbnails, you know, of some like shoes or something very like novel and that sparks your curiosity. But yeah, good points. Anything to add to that?
Not really. I think it's pretty clear. I think there are so many ways to spark curiosity towards the viewer. My advice would be like check in within your own niche what the competition is doing and analyze each thumbnail. Like, okay, if I see this thumbnail and I read the title, what does it do with me? You know, and learn from that experience.
Yeah, basically. Exactly. All right. The third point is social proof. So people are more likely to watch a video if they see that others have already engaged with it. Pretty straightforward. So high view counts, likes, and positive comments can serve as social proof, signaling to potential viewers that the video is worth watching. This is pretty straightforward, right? If you see a video and it has, you know, millions of views, you're like, oh, okay, you know, this video is probably good.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. And I think you can also maybe leverage this already in the beginning to, if you maybe attach something bigger to your video. For example, Andrew Huberman. If we would make a video about something psychology, in this, for example, we could attach Andrew Huberman inside our video. Maybe we will mention him about a certain research, and that's basically also some sort of social proof. Yeah, but in a different way. But yeah.
Of course. And also leveraging social proof, as in we've talked a lot about it, like social hacking, right? Yeah. We could be using, you know, Andrew Huberman in our title or thumbnail to somehow leverage his authority and his audience credibility to leverage that, you know. So that's also another way. Nothing really much here to add. It's pretty straightforward, right? If the video has a lot of views, you're like, oh, you know, that must be a good video, right? Pretty straightforward.
Exactly, yeah.
All right. The fourth point here on the psychology of YouTube is personal relevance. So videos that address specific interests, needs, or goals of viewers are more likely to be clicked and watched. I think, shout out, this is my I think this is your niche. Yeah, this is my niche, definitely. Creators who understand their target audience and create content that speaks directly to their needs and interests can build a loyal following. So, I can speak here from personal experience. Videos that address specific interests, right, needs or goals. So, for example, my audience on my personal YouTube channel primarily are people. Let's put it that way, are young males primarily who are interested in making money online, entrepreneurship, YouTube automation, back in the day drop shipping and all that, right? But the overall umbrella that they're all sitting under is this kind of make money online type thing. So yeah, and people who are interested in that kind of content, you know, they are going to watch my videos, right? Because they have that specific interest, they have that goal, right? Maybe their goal is to, like, you know, I want to build an online business, or I want to make X amount of money and stuff like that. So, and understanding your target audience better and creating content is basically the ultimate key. You know, if I actually did this experiment, right? I was building out my my YouTube channel for like 2 years about, you know, the things that I mentioned. And then over a sudden, the next day I post a video about like, you know, yoga, right? And then no one clicks from my audience. And then if no one clicks from my audience existing, then YouTube is like, whoa, his loyal fans are not watching. Then why would we recommend this to anyone else, you know? So I think, what was his name? Ed from Film Booth. He made a really easy to understand analogy in one of his videos where he had like 3 capsules, right? And in one capsule was like hot audience, right? Those are yours, like subscribers, like loyal fans. The other one was warm, like they know about you, but they're not like, you know, super into you. And then the other one is like cold, right? So if you're hot, right, like your loyal subscribers are not clicking and watching, then YouTube, that's a negative signal for the algorithm, right? YouTube was like, well, if they're not watching, then why would we serve this to anyone else?
The CTR will also tank.
Exactly.
It will go down. Yeah.
I've tried this. Trust me, don't do it. If you start in a niche, stay in that niche. You can pivot within that niche, right? I went from dropship to drop service, and then I went to YouTube automation, and then I can go to affiliate marketing, right? It's all within that thing. But if I tomorrow go into, you know, physical exercise and stuff, that's a no-go for sure.
No, I agree. And I think also we've seen like a big trend lately. We've talked about it before as well. People just making videos about their own experience if they tried something for a specific period.
Yeah.
And that's also very relevant for a lot of people that want to try out that specific thing. For example, you mentioned in the beginning of this podcast, you're making a video about 30 days ice plunging.
Yes.
It's very relevant for people that want to try that or like want to know more about it. So it's also very relevant for those people.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how that video is going to perform, but and it's requiring a lot of commitment. Really a lot of commitment, dude. When I wake up in the morning, I don't want to go to the lake, but I do it.
Yeah, but it's good for you, right?
It is good for me. Yeah. It's keeping me accountable.
That's the goal.
And committed. All right. And then the final point here, before we depart, is entertaining and enjoyable. Okay, so people watch videos for entertainment and enjoyment. Think David Dobrik, right? Think Danny Duncan. Think Mr. Beast, right? Creators who make their content fun, engaging, and visually appealing are more likely to capture and hold viewers' attention.
I agree, especially because like people of our generation are not watching TV anymore. They go to Netflix or YouTube to watch their favorite show on YouTube or favorite YouTuber. So people also just go to YouTube for entertainment. So if you can do that in the right way, in an engaging way, and people will come back to your videos. And like if they had like a nice experience, a fun experience with your YouTube channel, the next time you upload again, they will see, oh, hey, he uploaded again. I want to watch it right away. Same with Mr. Beast. Everyone watches his videos next because they know it will be a crazy video that's entertaining. Yeah. So you're basically slowly planting a seed in people's head. Like, if I upload, you want to click my video. Mm-hmm. But that's a really long-term game. But if you can achieve it, it's really, really lucrative.
I think it's called the Pavlovian response.
Oh, yeah.
So there was this guy, Pavlov, who trained his dogs to basically what he did was he rang a bell, he gave them food. He rang a bell, he gave them food. And then he trained them to such an extent that when he rang a bell, they started salivating without even the food being present. Right? That is training, and that same thing. Oh, and you might say, oh, but I'm not a dog. Well, yeah, sure, you're not a dog, but you're an animal. And some of the principles that apply to, you know, other animals like mice and dogs and stuff, right, can also be applied to us, right? The way our wiring in the brain and works can still be applied. So same thing here, you know?
Yeah.
You do a drug, right? You get what was the book? The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, right? You read about it? There are the three, I think it was like a triangle, right? So you have the cue, then you have the action, and then you have the reward, right? And then so that it goes, right? You have the cue. So for example, you know, you get tired, right? During the day, right? That's your cue for, I don't know,
Go to
playing
bed.
playing a video game, playing a video game, not for something, right? For like playing a video game, right? So the because you get like pleasure from that, right? So then your behavior is playing a video game, and then the reward is, you know,
Dopamine.
Dopamine, game. Pleasurable sensations from playing the game, right? So that's the cue behavior, and then the reward thing. So yeah, that's what I think what we're talking here about is that. But, you know, coming back to the idea of being entertaining and enjoyable, I think you also need to be very careful, you know, because, for example, like in my niche, right, one of the top, you know, YouTubers is Bia Heza. He's actually originally from Belarus, but his parents moved to, I think, California when he was a young kid, right? And so he has like a personality, right? He's a character, and he's very funny. Right? He has this like a lot of inside humor, a lot of inside language, right? And so you watch his videos, and I enjoy, and a lot of people enjoy, right? The numbers speak for themselves. But you need to be careful with that, because if you then say, oh, okay, Bia Heza is like this, so I'm going to be like this, you're just going to look like a clown. It doesn't work. Finding your voice, finding your tone, your style is a difficult thing, right? For most, right? For some, maybe it's a natural, a given, right? But yeah, I think being entertaining and enjoyable is a skill in itself, and it's hard, right? So you need to think about in which one of these 5 things you can fall into, you know?
Yeah, like not everybody is also an entertainer. Like
Exactly.
being an entertainer is like a whole. You need I think it's a type of person that can be an entertainer. Like you need to have some set of skills or personality to be an entertainer. So yeah, I think Bia has also did a video lately that he doesn't want to post as often because he was more making videos for the algorithm than for his own joy, you know?
Yeah.
Also pretty strong message, I think.
Yeah. There is a lot of that, by the way, happening. What are they called? Colin and Samir were talking about it as well on their last creator support podcast. So yeah, there's something happening inside of YouTube, but it's interesting to see how it's going to play out.
We'll see. Yeah.
All right. Well, Ron, thank you for your time, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching, listening, subscribing, and we will see you in the next one. Ciao.
Yes. Bye bye.
Dude, we're forming like